So, have you ever found yourself in a situation where something just feels, well, kind of off?
Mm-hmm.
Maybe you suspect someone isn't being entirely genuine, or, you wonder if you've been subtly influenced without even realizing it.
Yeah, that feeling at a crossroads.
Yeah,
It's pretty common trying to figure out if you're seeing things clearly, especially in relationships or making big decisions.
exactly. Well, if that sounds familiar to you listening, you are absolutely not alone.
And that's precisely what we're diving into today. The intricate world of manipulation. Our mission here really is to equip you with the insights and tools to recognize its many forms, understand how it works, and most importantly, how to effectively counter its influence in your life.
Right. And we've brought together a really powerful stack of sources for you. I mean, everything from ancient wisdom and cultural perspectives to modern psychology, economics, and even some really valuable street smarts.
hmm The goal is to pull out the most actionable nuggets of knowledge, right? Give you a solid toolkit to navigate a world that's frankly full of subtle influences.
Yeah, whether you're a college student, maybe prepping for a presentation, or just diving into a new field, or honestly just intensely curious about how power dynamics really work, this deep dive is definitely for you.
So we'll start by trying to pin down what manipulation actually is.
Hmm.
Then we'll look at some vivid real-world examples, things you might recognize.
Okay.
After that, we'll explore some tactical insights from different fields, and then wrap up with a uh, pretty powerful set of strategies you could hopefully apply right away.
Okay, let's unpack this then. When we talk about manipulation, what exactly is this? This elusive opponent at its core. How would you define it for us?
Well, at its essence, manipulation is basically when someone uses emotional triggers or,
Yeah.
strategic actions to control or exploit another person.
Okay.
It's often done for personal gain, even while they're kind of projecting this image of serving others. Fundamentally, it's about getting you to do what they want, maybe without you fully realizing you're being steered.
And it's not just about obvious physical actions, is it? We often think of it as direct pressure.
Not at all. That's a common misconception. What's often missed is that psychological actions can have just as much, if not more, impact. And they can work completely without physical contact.
Right.
Like our street smart expert put it, it's about people bribing, people lying, people creating drama to get something. It's a shortcut, really. And it's important to see that taking shortcuts yourself can actually make you a target for manipulation too.
I like that shortcut idea. It implies they're also clever at twisting reality, right?
Yeah.
Using those spices of words to deceive.
Exactly. Pinter memelintir kenyatan, like the example of the fish seller shouting, fresh fish just from the sea, when, it's been sitting in the fridge for 2 days. It's not just what's said, but sometimes what's left unsaid that does the real work of deception.
Okay, so how does this play out in different fields? You mentioned academic and professional lenses.
Yeah.
Linguistics, for instance.
Yeah, from a linguistics angle, manipulation often shows up subtly in language. You see techniques like framing, presupposition, euphemisms. These are often technical-sounding terms used, sometimes deliberately, to kind of shut down critical thinking. They obscure the truth behind complex or maybe harmless-sounding words, like framing could be calling a tax hike a shared investment instead of a burden.
Right, a classic tactic. And that ties into strategic vagueness, too, doesn't it? Especially in politics.
Oh, absolutely. Words are made intentionally vague so people can read whatever they want into them. Politicians promising, prosperity for all or building roads for the future without any clear specifics, no metrics.
Yeah, even a word like change, it sounds good, but change could be for the worse.
Exactly. Then there's dog whistle politics, using coded language that only specific groups really understand.
Like what?
Well, saying something like, we will uphold noble traditions to signal to conservatives, or we are anti-foreigners to tap into narrow nationalism. It builds loyalty through this kind of shared, hidden understanding. Makes people feel like the leader gets them.
And then you mentioned technocratic manipulation using jargon.
Yeah, using foreign or overly complex terms to sound smart and basically hide the real meaning. You might see a campaign banner saying something like, social transformation based on an inclusive ecosystem.
Right. Sounds impressive, means nothing concrete.
Pretty much. Even business owners might scratch their heads. It's language designed to impress, not inform.
Okay, shifting to psychology. How does manipulation work there? Controlling emotions.
That's a big part of it. A really common tactic you might have come across is gaslighting, making you doubt your own perception of reality. Like maybe a partner confronted about lying says, you're just too suspicious, we're like family. It makes you question your own gut feeling. A huge red flag here is feeling just drained, emotionally exhausted after talking to someone. That often means your emotions were played with.
And what about emotional priming?
Yes. That's when someone butters you up, makes you feel special, or praises your, say, integrity right before they hit you with a request, maybe for a sketchy investment. Makes you more likely to say yes.
Right. And then the social proof trap, everyone else is doing it.
Classic. Why people join pyramid schemes or maybe those dodgy social savings groups, Erratic, just because friends are in it. Then comes the painful realization. Solidarity without logic is a mass trap.
This leads into the dark triad traits, right? Psychopathy, narcissism, and Machiavellianism.
Exactly. Psychopathy often involves impulsiveness, needing immediate gratification. Narcissism is all ego-driven. But Machiavellianism, that one's particularly dangerous because it's calculated. It's cautious, rational, very strategic about gaining power, always weighing the pros and cons.
So if a Machiavellian is so cautious and strategic, does that make them like way harder to spot than someone more impulsive? How might that show up subtly?
Oh, absolutely. An impulsive person, their behavior might be erratic, easier to flag. A Machiavellian operates with cold calculation. They might subtly spread rumors to undermine a rival, not directly, but maybe through seemingly innocent questions to different people, like, have you noticed so-and-so seems a bit distracted lately, just worried about them?
Ah, planting seeds.
Exactly. Planting seeds of doubt, then stepping back, letting gossip do the work. While they look completely blameless, they're patient. Their real motives are buried deep. That's why they're so hard to detect. And frankly, they don't really change that core strategy.
Okay, this concept of artificial integrity, or AI, not robots, but the seduction strategy, this sounds critical. How does that actually look in practice?
Right. It's about projecting this image of being intrinsically motivated to serve others, serve you, but really, their actions are all self-serving.
Can you give an example?
Sure. Think of a politician who's always framing their policies as for the people, maybe constantly doing photo ops at local markets, seeming very grassroots. But then if you look closely at the actual laws passed, or maybe their personal business deals, you see they disproportionately benefit themselves or their inner circle. That projection of selflessness, masking purely self-serving goals, that's artificial integrity. It's a strategy, a facade, not who they are.
Okay, let's switch gears to economics. Manipulation through asymmetric information. One side knows more.
Yep. Think of the fisherman at the auction. Who knows which fish are starting to turn, but you, the buyer, don't.
Right.
Or all those fake testimonials for get-rich-quick crypto schemes. Another really common one. Those big discounts you see after prices were secretly jacked up beforehand.
The illusion of saving money.
Exactly. Research shows something like 78% of people feel smart when they get those deals, but they're often just victims of this discount illusion.
And in the workplace, HR and corporate culture.
Oh yeah, it's often disguised as positive culture. You know, the classic, our company is a family line,
Yeah.
often used to guilt employees into unpaid overtime.
Or HR offering team bonding instead of actual salary increases.
Precisely. And the data backs this up. Research suggests companies that are actually transparent about pay have about 40% higher productivity. Why? Because employees feel safer, they dare to speak up when things aren't right.
And finally, societally, cultural norms being twisted.
Definitely. The idea of respect for elders, for instance, which is important in many cultures, can sometimes be twisted to oppress younger generations, shutting down their input or needs. It becomes social coercion, pressure to comply.
Sometimes framed as local wisdom, right?
Exactly. Carafan local. And that's incredibly powerful because it taps into deep cultural values. Questioning it makes you seem disrespectful, even unpatriotic, even if that wisdom is being used by someone just for their own benefit.
Wow. So after all that, looking at all these different angles, what does this mean for us, for the listener? What makes us vulnerable to these tactics?
Well, it often comes down to a few core things, doesn't it? That desire for maybe quick wealth or the need to fit in, to be accepted by a group, and sometimes, honestly, just being a bit lazy about learning the details or thinking critically. These are the hook manipulators look for.
Okay, so let's talk about the manipulator's playbook. The common tactic. Broken promises seem like a big one.
Huge. A broken promise isn't just letting someone down. It's a fundamental breach of ethics. It eats away at trust. In Islamic teachings, for example, a promise is like a covenant, not just with the person, but with God. It really emphasizes integrity and honesty.
And then there's straightforward emotional manipulation using those triggers we talked about.
Yeah, and that goes against basic principles of good behavior, transparency, empathy. The Prophet Muhammad emphasized kindness, especially towards family, as reflecting strong faith. It highlights respecting feelings, not controlling them for gain.
What about being absent? Showing up selectively.
That's a subtle but powerful one. It undermines community, that feeling of brotherhood or solidarity. Real support means being consistent, reliable, like parts of a strong building supporting each other. Being selectively available, only helping when it suits them, just weakens relationships and erodes trust over time.
Now that I and I alone can protect you, the structure of artificial integrity. You said it has 3 parts.
It typically does, yeah. First, they destabilize you, play on your fears, the world's dangerous, others want to hurt you.
Okay.
Second, they reassure you, positioning themselves as the only solution. Only I have the power to protect you. Finally, they coerce you into a sort of contract, impose rules. The only way I can protect you is if you follow my rules, do as I say. It's only fair. It's this paradox, right? Appealing to freedom while actually leading you into oppression.
Sounds like it connects to the idea of intention, Naya, in Islam, actions judged by purpose.
Precisely. Manipulators can look like they're doing good things on the surface, but their real intention is self-serving. Understanding that helps you look past the actions and ask why they're doing it.
And exploiting a lack of understanding about rights.
Absolutely. There's a saying, all of you are shepherds and responsible for your flocks. It emphasizes care, guardianship. Manipulators thrive when people aren't aware of their own rights, their dignity, what basic fairness looks like.
Okay, let's shift to some defenses. You mentioned ancient wisdom, specifically from Minangkabau proverbs. These sound fascinating.
They really are. Not just old sayings, but deep strategic insights packed into memorable phrases.
Let's hear some. First, nature expands to become a teacher. How does that help against manipulation?
It's about grounding yourself in reality. Verify claims against evidence, against the natural world, not just words. Someone makes a promise. Look at the facts. Look for proof. Challenge abstract claims with tangible reality.
Okay. Next. Beak to beak like chickens, blade to blade like swords.
This one's about unity, even in disagreement. Stay close. Manage conflict respectfully. Manipulators love to divide people, right? So this encourages strengthening your bonds with others, making it harder for them to isolate you.
How about intelligence should not be left unacknowledged, cleverness should not be left unencouraged?
This champions meritocracy. Value real knowledge, real skills. It empowers you to speak up, assert your competence, especially if someone's trying to suppress bright people or undermine expertise to keep control.
Makes sense. Then, what belongs to someone must be respected, and what is beneath is to be stepped on.
This is about justice and fairness. Respect, rightful ownership, respect roles. It's a direct counter to exploitation, people trying to grab what isn't theirs or treating others like stepping stones.
This next one seems really powerful against gaslighting. No matter how true something is, it cannot simply be thrown away. No matter how patient one is, it cannot simply be stepped on.
Exactly. It affirms that truth is truth, no matter how someone tries to twist it. And it says patience has limits. It encourages you to stand firm when you're being deceived or oppressed, to not let your reality be dismissed or invalidated.
Okay. When retreating, retreat to the valley. When climbing, climb to the peak.
Decisiveness, purpose. Know when to strategically yield, but also know when to assertively fight back. Be clear in your actions. Don't give manipulators the confusion or indecision they often exploit.
Towards the top, do not leave scars. Towards the bottom, do not wound.
Ethical balance. Don't suck up to superiors in a way that harms others, and don't oppress those below you. It directly counters using people as tools for your own advancement.
Heavy loads are carried together, light loads are lifted together.
Solidarity again. Manipulators often try to isolate you, make you feel alone and weak. This proverb promotes mutual support, building a strong collective defense that's much harder for them to break through.
Custom is based on Islamic law. Islamic law is based on the Quran.
Stick to your foundations, your core principles, establish rules. Don't get swayed by arbitrary narratives or the shifting goalposts manipulators love to use. Know what you stand on.
And lastly, not withered by heat, not rotten by rain.
Steadfastness. True values, real principles, they endure. They withstand trials. Manipulative narratives might be fashionable or appealing for a moment, but they often prove hollow in the long run. Hold on to what's lasting and true.
Wow, those are incredibly insightful. Okay, let's bring it all together into a personal anti-manipulation toolkit. Strategies you can actually use. First line of defense, self-awareness and critical thinking.
Absolutely essential. The most important data point you have is what you are feeling. Recognize that manipulators work through your emotions. Guilt, pride, fear. Learn to step back from those feelings, observe them, and don't let them drive your actions. Cultivate that self-awareness. Notice manipulative signs in others, but also maybe in yourself sometimes. And trust your instincts, that feeling of exhaustion after talking to someone. Big red flag. But then, crucial step. Verify those instincts with logic. Don't just run on feeling alone.
Right. And question everything. If it sounds too good to be true.
It probably is. If someone says they're pro-people, ask how specifically. What policy? What's the measure? Like checking the gills on a fish, verify, don't just assume. And especially for you students listening, think long-term consequences, not just the immediate reward.
Okay, what about communication? How do we engage strategically?
Set explicit boundaries. This is huge. Clearly communicate your limits, what you expect. Saying no when something feels wrong or goes against your capacity isn't rude, it's self-respect. And try to communicate with transparency yourself. Avoid deceit. Cultivate honesty, kindness. Lead by example.
And when you hear that I alone can protect you story, challenge it.
Yes, but with genuine curiosity, maybe humility.
Not aggressively. Ask things like, okay, how exactly is the world dangerous to us? Or what makes you the only one who can protect us? And how would me giving you this power actually work out in practice?
Hold your ground.
Exactly. Hold your ground. Speak your truth. Even if it's just a quiet, I'm not quite convinced yet. Don't pretend to agree if you don't.
Practice critical discourse analysis. Listen for what's not said.
Analyze the language, the narrative, the framing, what's being emphasized, what's being left out. Often the omissions, the silences tell you more than the words themselves.
Okay. Dealing with master manipulators, you said see it as a strategy, not who they are.
Right. Don't challenge your core identity or integrity that just triggers defensiveness, creates drama, and gives them an emotional hook to use against you. Aim to deconstruct their story, their strategy, not attack them personally. And for toxic relationships, the CBR method. Cold, bottom line, rational.
Yeah, it can be really helpful. Cold. Keep emotional distance. Don't give them access to your feelings. Treat interactions more like a transaction, maybe. Bottom line, know your goal. Is it financial stability, supporting family, getting a project done? Craft your responses purely to achieve that outcome. Focus on winning the strategic objective, not the emotional skirmish.
Okay. And rational.
Focus on outcomes, not appearances or emotional displays. Manipulative people often operate without fixed principles, so trying to win debate based on fairness or logic might be pointless. Focus on the practical result you need.
You mentioned possibly manipulating the manipulator as a diagnostic tool. How does that work?
Yeah, carefully. Step back, mentally observe. Maybe dangle a little bit of belief or offer a small win, see if they calm down or de-escalate. Then throw a little curveball, express a slight doubt, pull back a tiny bit. Watch closely how their tactics shift. Do they go from charming to angry? Or try guilt? This can reveal their underlying strategy, maybe show cracks in their armor. It's about observation, not getting sucked in.
And decoupling the reward from the emotion.
Right. If they need something from you, give it to them, if appropriate, without the emotional engagement they might be trying to provoke. Just the facts. Then maybe ask for honesty or clarity. If their big emotional display suddenly vanishes once they get what they want, well, that tells you something.
And crucially, don't go it alone.
Never. Talk to people you trust, people who genuinely care about you. Get outside perspectives. And if you see someone else being targeted by psychological aggression, find the courage to speak up or intervene if you safely can.
Okay, finally, building a resilient life. What are the key pillars?
Keep learning. Always. Knowledge really is your best defense. And dare to say no. Even when it's hard, even if you feel alone in doing it.
Build a healthy ecosystem.
Yes. Surround yourself with supportive people who encourage critical thinking, not just blind loyalty. Think about those companies with transparency. They retain people better for a reason and value the people who dare to disagree with you, who challenge you constructively. They're assets.
And be loyal to principles.
Exactly. Cultivate a kind of fanaticism for goodness and logic. Be loyal to ideas, to principles, not just to personalities. Because true strength, real power, isn't about dominating others. It's about unity, compassion, seeing people as partners, not pawns.
So just to recap the core strategies. First, self-awareness and critical thinking. Know your feelings. Trust but verify. Question everything.
Second, strategic communication. Set boundaries. Be transparent. Challenge narratives with smart questions.
Third, dealing with manipulators. See it as a strategy. Use CBR, cold, bottom line rational. If needed, maybe use diagnostic observation.
Right. And finally, build a resilient life. Keep learning, say no, foster transparency, be loyal to principles.
So even if people call you too much of a thinker or overly analytical.
It's far better than being an unwitting victim. Right?
Yeah, definitely.
We really hope you, listening, carry these lessons with you. Be a critical citizen, not just someone who applauds without really understanding why. Be wise, be vigilant, and always listen to that logical part of your mind. True intelligence isn't just about degrees, is it? It's about not being easily fooled.
Thank you so much for joining us on this deep dive today and for committing to being more informed and resilient. We hope you take these insights and really apply them. Until next time, stay curious, stay critical, and keep digging deeper.